Okay, today I'm going to do a video on how to replace the impeller in a 2000 tracker by Mercury Marine. It is basically any 2000 40 horse Mercury series motor is the same. This one happens to be on a tracker boat, so they have their tracker logo. But enough said about that. What we need to do is get the lower unit off. Now, I'm going to show you the tools that are needed just to get it off. I have a 16 millimeter end wrench. I have a 10 millimeter end wrench. I have a second 10 millimeter end wrench. Any 3/8 drive will work. I just grabbed the longer one. I don't know why, but just one I grabbed. I have a 15 millimeter deep well socket, and then I also have a 13 millimeter deep well socket, and I also have a little dead blow hammer. Any rubber hammer will work. This is going to be used to tap on the out drive to break the seal from oxidation or corrosion from the midsection. Okay, so there's the motor. Now this one here happens to be power trim and tilt, so I'm going to raise it up. And you do not have to take the cowling off. Get it up here where you can work on it. I mean, it's up where we need it. Now I'm going to go over the bolts you need to take out. And I have loosened them for the sake of speed. But on this side, there's a bolt. Here's your second bolt. And I set them on that side of the motor. It's just so I know what side they go back in. Here's another bolt. Now that fourth bolt there, I backed it out, but I'm going to leave it somewhat in it so the outdrive just doesn't happen to slide out of there when I get to that point. Now, underneath here is your torque control, or also your anoid that keeps corrosion happening anywhere else but here. Underneath here, oh, let me back up. These bolts, these are 16 millimeter bolts. This here is our 13 millimeter, and it doesn't need to be a deep one for this, but 13 millimeter, and it is a bolt. So you'll take it out. So far we have loosened up 5 bolts, taken out 4 bolts, and we have still left this one in. So hang on, I want to show you this little thing. When you take this anoid off, you will see this part, and it may be stuck in there. But if you see the little circle half moon, it goes up in there like so, and it rides just like that. So the half moon goes in first and just pivot it in, and then the anoid holds it. So now with that off, what you have up under here is another nut. That nut happens to be a 15 millimeter. This is where you would need your deep well socket because it is up in there. And you get it off. There's the nut. Now there is a washer. Oh, come on. There's a washer up in there also. Well, it'll come off, but don't forget there is a washer on this nut. See the washer? Just remember that has to go on there before the nut goes back on. Now, we still have this nut in here, or this bolt in here. It is due to the fact you have your shift linkages still hooked up. Now I have loosened it. This is a jam nut. This is your attachment coupling. They are both 10 millimeters, so you'll need a 10 millimeter on the nut and a 10 millimeter on the attachment nut, as I guess you would call it, and you'll want to loosen that up. Okay, now we've got it loosened up. You can tell it's free from it. Now we're going to take out that bolt. So this is loosened up now. We'll take this bolt out. At this point, there's no bolts holding this and no shift linkage, which is right here. Give it a little tap and it will come out to you. And again, be careful you don't bend this rod. You don't want to bend this rod. So these two rods, just be a little careful. Now, right here is your water pump housing. We're going to go into the shop and remove it, but your impeller is directly underneath this water pump housing. That's it. There's your lower unit, and when we get it into the shop, we'll service it, and we're going to change the oil out into it also, since we're doing the impeller. Okay, we got it in the shop, and we are removing the water pump housing. What size is that?
10 millimeter.
Okay, using a 10 millimeter socket. We're using and once we got it off, you can see the dirt, the sand buildup. We'll clean that out also. Okay, I've got a putty knife, and I'm going to break the seal. So the seal is broke all the way around it now. And we're going to pick it up. And sometimes your impeller stays here or it stays in this casing. Oh, just came out of the casing. There's the old impeller. Check the casing, make sure it isn't all tore up. Now what you're not seeing is that I am cleaning the shaft up with a little brake clean, because up on the top of here, see this little washer? It doesn't want to come off without cleaning it. Here's our little washer. There's our impeller. And you can see somebody in time put this impeller wrong. This one blade was spinning the wrong way the whole time. You can see how it's supposed to be arched back. So whoever installed this last time screwed up, and this one always turned wrong. Okay, there's another little washer on the bottom. But right there's our little key. Now what we do is, you can put your key back in here. This is the new impeller. We're going to slide the new impeller on. We're not going to put it in the case. We're going to slide it down here. And we're going to align. There's a little keyway right here. We're aligning that with the key. Okay, now it's down flush. We're going to put our little washer back on. There. Now we're ready for the impeller housing. Now I want you to take a look. There's your impeller. Here's the housing. Here's marine grease. What we do is put marine grease on the inside of this, like so. Now what you're going to want to do is take it and slide it down the shaft. Okay, you notice I haven't done anything with this yet. Bring it down, put a little bit of pressure downward. When you're down, pushing down, turn it clockwise. Because that's the way the motor runs, is in clockwise position. So by doing that, all of your rubbers on the inside will all be tipped the proper way. So when it's in there, what we're doing is rotating it so all your nubs are back like this, and you don't get an odd one like this. If you just shove it down on there and try to work it, you most likely will end up with a odd one going the wrong way, which means you're not pumping water as efficiently as you should. Okay, we got our 10 millimeter, putting it on our little ratchet. Okay, all the bolts are started. Okay, now all we're going to do is go around, double check them, make sure they're snug. Don't reef on them to the point where you break the bolts.
Tight, broke is broke.
As my father just said, tight is tight, broke is broke. Okay, we have the outdrive now back out here onto the boat. Now we have it in gear, so you can turn the shaft. You can see we've got a little gap. I'm watching my shift linkage here because I really want that to start. So I'm going to turn the propeller just a little bit to get it started. I have the shift linkage started. You see I have a little gap here, and just wiggle it around a little bit and you'll bring it home. You can take a dead blow hammer. I'll give it a little tap here and there, and you'll close this gap up enough so you can put the bolts in. So before I get to this shift linkage down here, I'm going to throw some bolts in it here. So these bolts on the sides takes a 16 millimeter. We'll quick get those in. Now, if I didn't say it in the video earlier, we usually put our controls always in forward, but this particular motor, we put it in neutral due to the fact it puts this jam nut and the connecting nut in a good location to start them and loosen them and all that. Okay, so on the other side I just put these two bolts in. I believe you can see them. So these two bolts were put in. Now I'm going to put these ones in. And what I'm not showing you is I put some blue Loctite on these threads. If you use red, it gets real hard to take them out, but I use blue Loctite. So I'm done now with that 16 millimeter. Now I'm going to switch over to my ratchet, 15 millimeter. Make sure I got it turned so it's tightening. And I'm going to put the nut and washer, lock washer, or lock nut on there. So now we're tightening up the fifth. This is the fifth nut or bolt. This is actually a nut that holds the lower unit on. Everything after this is basically for your anoid and your linkage. So there's 4 bolts and 1 nut you must take out Okay, here's our anoid, our little plastic part, and our little bolt with a washer on it. Now we're going to switch out, get rid of the 15 millimeter, and go to the 13 millimeter. Now, it looks like I got a ton of crap in my hands, and I do. Remember, put the plastic half moon piece in up first. Then your anoid. Make sure the fin is pointing to the back. Now, what this fin is for torque. The motor is to offset the pitch of the prop, or the force that the prop puts on the motor. So if you got a motor that is pulling real hard to the one side, you actually use this to compensate that. And so we're going to put it back where it was, which is just off center. So it's actually turned a little bit this way. And there's little like nubs in there. You can feel it. It'll allow you to turn it in like a degree increment or 2 degrees. Make it snug. Just remember, don't go super tight. You'll break that little bolt. You can look at your prop. This one here, gentleman must have hit something. So I will suggest that he has it redone. Okay. We've gotten rid of our 15 millimeter, our 13 millimeter, got rid of the 16 millimeter end wrench. We've gotten rid of the dead blow because we don't need it. The only thing left are these two 10 millimeter wrenches. Okay, now we are going to tighten our shift linkage back up. So we're going to bring this top bigger nut down to the jam nut and then jam everything together. So I'm going to try to get you somewhat here. So put the 10 millimeter in, turn it counterclockwise. So what you'd think is loosening is actually tightening it. So you bring it down to the other one. So you got open end, put the one open end onto the coupling nut, put the other one on the jam nut, give them a little bit of some pressure. All you're doing is jam nutting them together. You don't have to reef on them, any of that. But that is it. Once you get that done, you are literally done with this process.